Hi everyone, it's 7 o'clock. We just
Hi
thought.
everybody.
Hi everybody. Sorry, we just heard. I think Pippa's got a sore stomach. We have a sore stomach. Hi everyone, please log on. As you do know, we are on. We're live on all our platforms, which is YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. So thank you for everyone for coming on. It's good to see you guys every Saturday night.
Yes.
This is our 4th episode.
Woo.
So we're in the middle.
Fourth?
Yeah.
Just fast, eh?
It's gone so fast. We launched in, what's it called, May the 17th. So yeah, 100%. It has gone fast.
Yeah, it has.
So welcome to everyone. It's good to see everybody logging online as we do come. And I think that's what's cool about us at Tautuatalk is that for the past 3 years we have gone live every Saturday 7 o'clock. So we do like that dimension of being live. For some people it's not for them because they think it's like that's scary. I'm like, which it is scary, I think.
It's
but
scary, but
it is what it is.
We love it. We love the rush of it.
Why do you like going live for?
I think I like going live because it catches first glimpses of how we naturally feel or our natural responses, our first responses.
Yeah, I think
you can't. I don't know. There's just such a genuine.
Yes, that's the word.
Yes, there's
Yes.
a genuine response to certain things that has to come out then and there, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I like the authenticity of it, the
yes.
rawness of it in a world where everything is always pre-recorded, let out in such a way that it's not who authentically people are. But it's not for everyone. We know that it's not for everyone. But I guess for me and Pepe, it just works for us.
It does.
And being trained in it as well, I think it's another awesome aspect in it too. Also, shout out to our local church for really training us and being on the cutting edge and being on the front line of live things. So we like the live, and we also like the engagement, which we really want to talk about in regards to bringing people back into our engagement because our engagement is what really drove the live feed. So we want you guys to hop online. I know it's new to all our people because we're doing it differently.
We are doing it a little different, but not too different, still the main thing stays the main thing.
Main thing stays the main thing. And me and Pepe are still
who we are.
Hotties, as Pepe says.
Well, okay.
Everyone knows that's your word. Hotties.
We're hotties.
So while everyone's logging on, we'll get. Do you want to get in straight into? Oh no, let's say how's your week been?
Me?
Yes.
My week, it's been a Blair week.
A Blair?
Like a Blair.
Blue.
You know that emoji that's like that emoji? Like, you just want to go on me the forehead?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's been your one.
Yeah, that's mine. How's your week been?
My week's been busy, but it's been good. Like I think I've just really enjoyed it in regards to some of the stuff that's happening and all that. So, but yeah, what's it called? My dad's in Samoa at the moment.
Yes.
What's it called? And your mum is in?
Oh, she's in LA. She's in America.
Yeah, that's an interesting place to be. Yeah.
She's very interesting woman. Genya is I called her. I was telling her I was one of the ones at House of Prayer this morning.
Yes.
Like called her this morning. I was like, "Hey, mom," and she's like, she answers the phone. She's like, "Go ahead," and I'm like, "Oh, hell."
Do you want to tell people?
No. Do you want to
tell people?
No, it's
I know. I don't think people know.
Anywho.
Okay. Okay.
How long is Dad in Samoa for?
He is in Samoa for another week, and then he's back. He's actually there for, which is I thought love it.
Oh, and how funny! Our topic for tonight is all things.
Fat love is.
Loving.
So before we go on, why don't we talk about what is fat love is in those sort of instance. So we're just trying to get our things together. So you see the comments. There you go. Okay, cool. Why don't we talk about that? What is a Samoan fa'alave? You go first. What do you think? If you were to describe what that is, what is that?
Fa'alave is it's a community type of thing.
Okay.
Fa'alave to me anyway.
Yeah, to you. What is it to you?
It's not an individual thing.
Yes. Okay.
Fa'alave.
Okay. Ding.
Ding. Ding.
What if you stretch out your words? She wants to stretch out her words.
Yes. Anywho. I to me the way I have describe whalawe to my own brain, you know, is that it's a community thing where to lighten the burden of an event. That's how I.
That's what you would describe as a whalawe?
Of a function of an event.
A function
of you know, whatever of the main whatever.
Okay.
Wedding, funeral, blah blah.
True. Okay. Whalawe to me is an aspect of the culture. What?
Yep. Sorry.
An aspect of the culture where families are asked to put into something that doesn't benefit them, but will benefit them in the future. If that makes sense. It's a Oh, you know what? Pastor said this thing last week, and in regards to it, and that word is stuck in my head. And I think whalawe is that it's event centric.
Yes.
Type of our culture,
yes.
Where it's very event based when it comes to whalawe. So I love that word. It's like it's event centric. It's a ritual that we have in our culture where we come together as a family and we put in a monetary food gift, and it's a love offering in regards to an event that's happening within our culture, within our family, within our church, and that's what I describe it as. What are your thoughts on that? You think so?
Yep, sure.
Oh, okay. Because I know when you say sure, you have an opinion for that.
No, look, sure. Like obviously, that's how you know.
So you think it's more community based? See, for me, it's not community based.
1,000%. It doesn't
okay, you go into that.
Mean your community is like outside my family can be my community. My extended family can be my community. My village can be my community.
That's true.
Like that in that sense. And I said specifically I use the word community because it describes the multiple of people. Yeah, okay. It's not a individual thing, although the reason or the why or the event may be based on a person, but I love it is when multiple people come together. Okay.
And do you think whalawe is only for Samoan people, or do you think everyone has this type of aspect in their culture, whether it be Tongan, whether it be Cook Islands, whether it be
100%. I think every culture has their own version of a whalawe. They may do it differently, but the main reason of coming together to lighten the burden.
So it's lighten the burden. That's good. That's fine,
because that's initially that's what it is.
Okay, well, can we go into the lighten the burden then? Okay, so obviously we've explained what a whalawe is in regards to it's an event we have in our family where we come together, and it can be in a context of church, community, or family where we put money offering, food offering in regards to light the burden. Now for me does it really lighten the burden, or does it become the burden itself? That's good. I like that.
It's the burden.
It's the burden. So let's dive into that, because I think as generation, you would call us millennial generation. You would call us the millennial generation. We're in that sort of in the middle where we love the culture, but yet there's some bits of it, which I think we spoke about whalawe is, there's aspects of that which we don't love. Thank you, Shari. What did Shari say?
Thank you. Shari said to lighten the burden, but also creates a burden for those that don't use wisdom.
Which, yes, I think that's what we're going
to... I think we're about to dive into that.
We're going to dive into that, Shari.
Welcome to the discussion, guys.
Yes, I think we're going to dive into that aspect of it, is that I think for myself, this is my opinion. My opinion on it is that it's definitely a beautiful thing, but because we live in a culture where one of the main things that we're battling is man-pleasing culture, it's hard to really tame what whalawe is.
100%.
And I think that's where I think for me it's just like there are points of aspect of not giving with no wisdom, expecting it, because I think sometimes our parents expect it from us, and I think sometimes our family and in Samoa extended families expect it as well, and I just think there cannot be love if you expect that from people. That's what
100%.
I say. So if you're trying to lighten the burden, I think you're giving more burden, and I think it's very special in the context of Samoan culture, because when we come and bring a love offering, you got to give it back. Like from hearing from your aspect, like when you say Tokelauan, and I remember talking to Selena, she goes, the Cook Island is exactly the same. They come and give it and then leave.
Leave.
But in our culture, that's why I think for me, it really is a detriment, is that with Fa'alava lovers, is that because we have to give it back. And that's what sort of angers me in a way. Angers me and gets my blood temperature up, you know what I mean? So what are your aspects on it? Like in regards to, do you find that's a burden?
Yep. Someone from TikTok said Fa'alava lovers turn into competitions for some.
Okay.
I was saying 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a comment on TikTok where it says Fa'alava lovers does turn into a competition with everybody else, which thank you for that comment on TikTok, because it's true. I think it's like what I was saying, is that it's because we live in a culture where it's a lot of man pleasing, like, you know, we want to do that. It's hard to what's it called? I think Nati said draw the line. That's the word that my little sister said. She goes, where do we draw the line when it comes to Fa'alava lovers? And I think that's where we're finding it hard, is generation millennial to generation Z.
Yeah.
Why don't you go talk into that? What I was saying.
Wait, we've spoken about 7 different things right now. It jumped from 1 to 7 or there go.
Okay, so the first question I said is you said it lightens the burden.
Yeah.
And one comment we had from TikTok is it's become a competition. So from your point of view, you think it lightens a burden. For me, I think it's a burden. So from your side, what do you mean it lightens a burden?
Like, you know, initially the Fa'alava love, culture of it. It was created so beautifully. Yeah. Like, you know, in the beginning, it was the concept. It still is. It's a very beautiful concept to lighten the burden of those that are going through whatever they're going through. The event, I don't like calling it the event, but that's the only word that's coming to my mind right now. But that the concept of, you know, people coming to lighten the burden, and I say that because, like, initially that's what it was for. Yeah. It's now until greed comes in, and, you know, I love, you know, that comment that they said it becomes a competition.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, but why is it competition? Is it competition because, you know, the makais, whose makai is higher, gets this amount or this amount and this amount. And then what, the younger ones or the smaller, you know, makai holders, they get nothing or whatever. But
that's very true.
I don't know, just when greed crept in.
Yeah.
I don't think we were always like that.
I don't think so, because I remember speaking to my mum, and she was like, back in that day, like she goes, when her dad was makai, which would probably be like 2-3 generations back then. So I said to her dad, she was like, man, they gave whatever they had.
100%.
Whatever they had, and there was no shame in it. There was no like, oh, this family's that. Because when you think about it, Pepe, we know our family's like, oh, you know, me and Pepe always say this. And our culture, in regards to our culture, is that money talks. It's like, you know what I mean? 100%. Money talks in a Samoan culture, man. It's like when we have stuff, it's like we're that type of culture where it is competitive, but money talks. So I think it was never originally like that, but I think consumerism, colonism, greed, all that came into that aspect. And I think, like I said, I really, and I honestly believe that our people, it's a man-pleasing thing, eh?
100%.
Why are we like that, though?
I think...
Where does that stem from? Like the man-pleasing, like...
Honestly, identity, where else would it stem from?
But why are people like that, eh?
People, because we can never accept the fact that our brother or sister can be better.
Yes.
I low-key have traits of that, you know, competitiveness, you know, but healthy competition. But not like, you know...
Don't think it's all... Okay, we just got a comment here. Can you read it?
Don't think it was always a competition. People just lost the ways and views, and it's meant to be a blessing, minute blessing, and expecting more in return.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, see? And you know what I like it? I think we... I believe that us as millennials, we have a more... Okay, people can come after me, but I think our parents don't have a grip on Fa'alava lovers. Well, I believe that we do. What do you think? Oh, here we go. I believe we're more realistic when it comes to Fa'alava lovers. Whereas our parents are like, hey, I'm just speaking of what I think. Do what I said. Like, do. Yeah. But I believe... But there is a difference too between the way we treat Fa'alava lovers and the way that what I was saying is the way the Samoan diaspora, which is people from outside the Samoan. Yeah. We create whālalavas differently compared to the people in Samoa.
Girl, yes.
Do you think we're worse or people in Samoa are worse?
We are worse.
You know what? It's so true.
We are worse. You don't think?
Is it because we have access to more things that we are worse? That our parents are worse?
We're trying to hold on so tightly to our culture and our beliefs, our traditions, that we've just over-exaggerated everything else. Like,
isn't it funny? Like, you think in Samoa, like, it would be worse. But I think for here, the church whālawalavas are worse. But in Samoa, the Samoa, like, isn't, the makais and that is worse. But, yeah, we can go into that. But, yeah, I think it's a burden. And you think it's not a burden, eh?
Man, you know why? Because the reason why I sit on this side is because I see the beauty of it.
Yeah.
More. I see the beauty of it, but I've also felt the nip and the grip of, having to fork out for it.
Yeah.
But saying that, I've seen the beauty of it.
100%. Okay. One question we have here. Okay. So obviously we're talking about the burdens. So I like what one thing my little sister said is, where do we as people draw the line when it comes to giving for whālawalavas? That's a good question, eh?
Oh, 100%.
Shout out Nati.
Everyone, shout out to Nati.
So where do we draw the line? When do
you think?
Me? I think it's hard because, like I said, we're in between our parents and our kids, right? So I think for us is, where do we draw the line? If we can do it.
If
we're in the means of doing it, we can do it.
But if not, we don't.
You know what I mean? Okay, if we don't, we don't. But that's the problem, is that, especially as millennial kids, we don't want to let our parents down. And I think it's one thing that this millennial Samoan is really trying to do, is really trying to love their parents, honor their parents, but also say, you know what, this aspect of how you grew up, I don't want it in my life. Yeah. So how do we counterculture that? And I think for us...
Yes, girl, yes.
Yeah, like that?
I really like that. Sorry.
You know what I mean? Like, we honor you, we love you guys, but no more. Like, we cannot do this. Like, and I think that's the reason why... And I think that's one of the reasons why the millennial generation, this is one of the reasons is we're not able to further in our finances, further in our studies, is because why? It's like, I got to work because we got whālawalavas. I got to put this, you know what I mean? Like, kids want to go to uni, it's like, we can't because we got to work because who's going to take care of my dad's makai? Who's going to help do the church, the umsanga, like all that stuff. So I think for me is, where do we draw the line? I think we as the generation taking our culture to the next level. Come on, Sonic. We as people taking our culture to the next level, keep the bits that are beautiful, which is the language, which is the dancing, which is all the aspects, but some things, they need to die in the name of Jesus. Yes.
I 100% agree
to
an extent.
Yeah, I knew she was going to say that.
I 100% agree to extent, but there's a saying in Samoan,
explain that in English.
Like, there's someone saying, you can't just take the good and leave the bad. Ole good, ole not so good. You can't always just take the good and leave the bad. There's got to be backlash in every aspect. Like, it is.
Okay, so
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, we'll go back to that. We've got a comment here from our Facebook says, from my observation, as a Tongan married to a beautiful Samoan, as a Samoan woman, would you say that pride and ego determines a person's family and
1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000%. Can we just dive into that question?
Okay, you dive into it first. Yeah, go.
So I love this. Thank you to Mr. Uno here from JJ Studios. What's up?
John.
Anyways, John asked, obviously he's married to this beautiful wife, Joyce. And he said, does pride and ego determine a person or a family?
Talk about your personal experience.
Okay, so
obviously because on our family and that, but just from your personal experience.
Yeah.
That question, what would you relate
to? Yeah, 1,000%. Like, sometimes, I have the best family in the whole wide world, honestly. But sometimes I don't know if my family think we're descendants from Elvis, or Because, you know, it's very quick to be like, very quick to be, oh yeah, I'll just go and, you know, pray on the mountains and see if there's any money trees that fall. Like, you know, and that's purely because, there's a certain stature.
Yes.
Oh, is that the word? Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
See, and I think even stature should be what John goes into, like stature, ego. That's ego as well.
Yeah, 1,000%. They think, and sometimes, oh my God, I know I'm off a little bit, but I'll go back on.
Yeah, go.
Do you think people like buy their way into
Macais?
Well, 1,000%. You have
100%.
You have to pay for
it.
it.
You know what I mean? Tautua is like the way through leadership is servanthood.
Yes.
And that's where we got Tautua from. So, but that's that topic, especially in Samoa at the moment, that's very big. Is that Tautua is not a thing anymore, and but yeah, we can go into that definitely.
But yes, to answer John's question, yes, like there's a lot of people that go out of their means that don't need to, but because, you know, like I said, you know, fialele,
yes,
there's a fialele, and also they think it's shame if you can't give a certain amount of money. For some to shame, why? If I be you know, yes.
Like that's what they say.
Yeah.
Or we're Makiva. Like I'm like,
yeah.
bro, we are Makiva. Like,
oh my gosh, you know Yasala. Oh my gosh.
I didn't get that by Samoan people. I was like, bro, we are poor. I mean, what we're trying to say is that our parents are like, our families are always like, oh, they're gonna think that our family can't do it because we can't do it, and like, all they're gonna say is like, oh, they think that our family's poor. Oh, bro, that's I think in regards to John's question, as in regards to families, ego, family. I think speaking from my personal experience, 100% does come into it, and I can speak from my personal experience. My dad is 100% in regards to those type of things, is that he doesn't know when the line is drawn.
Yeah.
Like my dad will be like, okay, let's give for his cousins' daughters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no line that he can draw. I love his heart. I love his honor. I love all that aspect. But I was like, when is no? Like when's
enough?
When can you set your daughters free in the name of Jesus? You know what I mean? And it's even that aspect of it, which it's like.
And is it enough to have your kids go in debt?
Yeah.
Going in debt?
All my life, yes. I know, like, why would you want your kids to go in debt for something that it's just temporary. Like, you know what I mean? There's no longevity to fight love. That's what I don't get. So yeah, my dad is loyal to the wrong things, and I can speak to that. I'm very open. So my dad is loyal to his family, but I think there must be a line to the loyalty. You know what I mean?
1,000%. You know, so, there's loyalty, and then there's just wisdom and common sense. Like,
and I think because the reason why my dad does that is a lot of things. I know why, because I've known it because
it's just like my mom. Yeah. Like I've grown up to like.
I think that one of the reasons that our parents do it is because they find the value in it, because they're taught up in such a young age. And then that's when their parents love them, right? Yeah. And I think that's where they get it from. Is it? And I think that's where man pleasing comes from.
1,000% man pleasing, because that's where they get their, you know, like, you know, when they get a compliment from another person, like that equals to their suffering. Like
100%,
it's enough. Like they're suffering, not suffering, but you know, all the hard work and stuff, it stems off one person's compliment. Like,
and I think your kids do this for you. You know what I mean?
And our parents are like, I did a good job. That defines my parenting. You know, 1,000%. That defines who I am.
100%.
Because my kids can do whatever
my kids can do it. What I say.
Whatever I say, whatever amount I've dropped, my kids will do it. That defines me. I've been a best parent.
Yes, and that's what they do. And I think, and I'm just going back to my dad, and I think it's one of the things that my dad can't let go of, because he finds his value in his 100%. Service. He finds his value in his giving, and he finds that. I think one of the sad things is I think that's how my dad is loved. And I think that's how he takes it. So for me, it's like, it's a little bit of a touchy subject. But
it would be. Yeah. It would be. We're not talking about anyone else. We're talking about our flesh and blood. Yeah. This is our parents. This is our body. This is our flesh, you know? And we can only speak on what we've seen. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, I was like, Dad, you're enough.
1,000%.
You don't have to do these things for these people to love you. You are enough. It's enough. Like, you keep building, you keep doing these things for what? Like, and I think I'm emotional. It's like, Because I think all our parents are like that.
Yes.
They keep doing these things. They keep doing these things. Like, you guys are enough. You don't have to do these things in order to be loved, to be accepted, to be for a name that.
Yeah. For a name. Anyways,
can I not?
It's all right. So, hey, say if I say what's the word?
It's real, and I think that's why I'm emotional about it, because it's so real. It's something that's plaguing our parents. It's like, man, let it go. Like, you're worth more than what you do and all that stuff, and raising your kids in a godly manner, leaving Samoa when you don't even speak English, coming to a country you don't even know. That's power in itself. You don't need to do all that stuff.
See how Senna's very emotional? The reason why I'm not emotional, because I'm angry. That's the truth. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm angry. Like, I love like Senna's, very, the vulnerability out of it. Like, because she's 100% right. I think I will come a time in my life where I'm like, man. But right now, girl's angry. Like,
why are you angry?
I'm angry.
Tell the people why you're angry.
Damn, like, I seen my mom came from Samoa with 3 jobs. I didn't even see this lady for like the first half of my life, because she was grinding and grinding and grinding. For what right now?
Yeah.
You could have done all of that. We could have owned 4 properties by now.
100%.
You could have done this. I could have been like, and I'm not to say like, what she has done is nothing, but those kind of things, like Nelawa, relax, enjoy her retirement and stuff, but she's still grinding. Still grinding.
It's like they can't stop her. It's like they're possessed. Possessed by a spirit of Samoa, definitely, man. But yeah, our parents do take giving to another level, 100%. And I'm hoping that when we have this conversation, that a lot of people can speak to their parents as well and say, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, we don't want our kids to carry this. I know, and for us, I know my nieces and nephews, my sister's like, hey, no way will my kids do this stuff, do lovers, give into family stuff, and I think what I don't like is that, because it goes the opposite way, because then I deny the culture, because they've taken that fully and be like, oh nah, and that's what hurts. And that's what hurts my heart.
Yeah, that's what I've done though. That's what I've done.
Yeah,
like I've been so traumatized with the upbringing of our cultural traditional ways that when I had PJ, I was like, nah. I cut it. But my mistake was, when I cut it, I cut it, all of it. I even cut the beauty of it. Like, I wish my son used to speak it. Yeah. And now he just, doesn't know how to say talalaifa. He sounds like his Uncle Sime when he speaks Samoan. It ain't right. It ain't right.
A sad one to see me, honestly. Cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we go to our next question?
Yes.
I like this one. Okay, so obviously we're speaking about... Do we have a comment, Natsi? Yeah, what's the comment?
So Michelle from TikTok said, we have a separate account for Fun Love Lovers. If there's no money in it, there's nothing to give.
So good.
If there's money, then they're welcome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we had
That's very smart
from Michelle. So we got a comment from one of our people from TikTok, Michelle. Shout out to Michelle.
Obama.
So Michelle, we got a comment from Michelle. She said, in their family, they have a separate account for Fa'alava lovers. And so if there's no money in it, they're not going to give. I love that. That's good. That's awesome. Thank you, Michelle. I agree with that. Yes. Okay. So now we had a comment from Facebook says, leave my husband alone. He can speak Tongan. Oh my gosh. And we love our Tongan followers. We love all our followers. So thank you so much.
Trust me, if we knew all about the Tongan culture, you know damn well we'll be speaking on it.
Actually,
but
we have another comment.
Yes.
There's another comment from Vaingia.
Vaingia, yep.
Their loyalty can be negative because, as you've elaborated, competition turns into gossip.
Oh,
that's a different strand. Yes.
Can you say that again?
Their loyalty can be negative because, as you've elaborated, competition turns into gossip.
So for them, they say competition turns into gossip. You know what? Thank you for that comment from TikTok. That's awesome. I can elaborate on that because my grandpa always used to say that. E pala ma'a ele pala kala.
Yes.
What that means is that rocks can frail, but words do not frail. So I think,
stick forever.
Yes, stick forever. Which I believe there is that truth to that, because I see it from the biblical sides. Words build things, But if you take that context into you don't understand what that means like anything people say against your family, you take it to heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That becomes your identity. And people gossip about your family. It's like, and can I just say this to our TikTok people and say, those people are not going to come and pay your bills. That's what I understand about people in Samoa. It's like, oh, people are going to talk, people are going to do this. Like, but they're not going to come and pay your bills. They're not going to come and do those loans that you have. Yeah. They're not going to come and, uniform your kids, especially in the context of Samoa. It's like, so our people need to be broken in that man-pleasing spirit. And I declare that on this online, that break that mentality that we have against other people's opinions, speaking into your own family. I 100%. Break that, man. I'm hoping that our millennial generation will rise 1,000%. From that 100% and break that in our culture. Oh, man.
Hey.
I'm liking this topic. It's giving me the vibes. Yes. Thank you for our TikTok people. We're loving the comments. Yeah. Amen. It's the most romantic language in the world.
What, Tongan? Oh, man.
You know what? Each to their own. I'm trying not to be, No,
it's not.
I knew she was going to say that. Okay. So obviously there's a lot of negative things, connotations we're saying in regards to Fa Love Lovers. Why don't we speak about, what do you think, what's it called? What are the benefits of Fa Love Lovers in Samoan, like in the culture, in Samoan culture?
Well, it's supposed to lighten the burden.
Yes.
Lighten the burden, but I think there's many, like for me, my own personal experience to Fa Love Lovers is that's why I met a lot of my cousins.
Okay, cool.
Like I met a lot of, families that I didn't know of. Yeah. And not only that, it made me open my eyes in a wider aspect as to, wait, I'm not just from like this side of town, or do you know what I mean? Like,
So you don't marry your cousin?
See, I'm not related to my husband. Hey, fella, I think we're related. Nah, jokes. Nah. There's no fewer things in here, mate. No, really? No. But you know what I mean? Like, I love, because it allows me to, look at my siumanga.
Yeah. What's that, siumanga?
Your
extended family?
Your community.
I love
people.
That's such a beautiful word. I like that. I always hear it. But yeah.
It allows me to,
Yes, so okay.
I
think the benefits for me, I always speak from my experience.
Yeah.
As you guys know, not a lot of people, I lost my mum last year. And as a family, we've always been the ones that do the Fa Love Lovers. Yeah. Like, we've always been the center of like, okay, let's get things done. So being on the opposite end, where we are receiving things, it was so hard for my family. Like, literally so hard for my family.
Can I just add on quickly? It was so hard for her and her family to even accept even sandwiches, let alone everything else. It was like so foreign to this family that even at the family service, there was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even express. And it was, on their faces, they were like, we were swearing at them when we told them, put it in the car. And they were like, no, give it to the people. I was like, what the heck is wrong with this family? From the oldest to the youngest. None of them wanted to take it. So yes, I understand.
Yeah, I understand. So if we were on the opposite end of the Fa Love Lovers, so that means we were the ones doing it. We were the ones grieving. I saw the beautifulness of our culture and it's full front.
Yes.
And I think that's what I love, is I love that family is center. It's called loyalty is center in those areas. So when I saw that, they're alofa. Like when I saw people come to our house and just come and give, and even a sense of grieving, it's like, I think as a community, as Samoan culture, we don't, when it comes to things that matter, when it comes to things that really happen, the first thing we do is like, drop it, we got to be with our family. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the culture that I love. Is that like, don't worry about that. We have to get to that place, because why? Our family is grieving. We need to be there with them.
They need us.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking about the context of the culture and the culture that my community, out of that, it's a whole completely different story. But that's what I love, is that when we were the receiving end of it, it was so hard for us to receive. But I believe it's like, man, this is why we build these sort of things, like, family, community. We come together as a family. So for me, I really did see the other side of it, the beauty of it.
But can I speak on the flip side as well?
Of course you can.
Like, so when I say the flip side, like, for example, when my old man passed away, like, can you confirm that his spirit aren't related? Bro.
Why?
JJ Studio is gonna be missing.
We're gonna have a debrief after this.
Jay's gonna be missing another J in a minute. No, wait. On the flip side, so obviously we're talking about whalawe, but I'm gonna speak on one side. Like, so obviously, old men pass away, in New Zealand, and so forth, and there was a lot of Samoan kupe,
means gathering of money. Yeah.
Within, like, my siblings and I, like, whatever. Even though me and my little brother came in quite short, but youngest teens. Nah, but what you call it? When we guild the families that came back, it wasn't so much. We never thought, and my siblings didn't even have to tell me the reasoning, or the reasoning of why we guild the families back, but it was to guild them back because of the love that the old man had. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so I know, like, people are like, when we give, when something happens, you give, and we're like, oh, we expect to be returned back with many. But in this sense of my old man, we gave back more. Why? Because it was a reflection of the old man.
Yeah.
Like, e kauli alofa le alofa.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's how it was a beautiful thing. So yeah, I thought I'd just kind of, on the other side of it, because yes, a lot of us do go give whalawe lovers or go give sanga stuff and then expect money in return. Whereas when we did our old man's aso, it was returned in favor of them.
Yeah.
Because it was a reflection of who he was. And we knew, as his kids, that's how he wanted it. That's what he would have wanted.
Yeah. And man, I love that as well, because I know with my dad going to Samoa, he's like one thing we were telling him, and he goes, God, we're like, man, Dad, how much are you going to give? He goes, the reason why we're going to give, obviously because they're the bolo, which is the in-law, but I was saying, he says, the reason why we're doing it is because that's my sister.
Yeah.
That's who we're representing. He goes, it's everything else doesn't matter. He goes, we're going on behalf of her. Yeah. So we're going to come, and we're going to come in strong. And I'm like, oh, you're coming strong. But anyways, that. So I love that.
Other things.
So that's true. Because I think... strong. So that's what he's saying. So I think I like that perspective too, because the reason why we give back is not because we're trying to man please, but basically what it is like, this is our family. Yeah, we're his kids. Yeah, this is what we're going to give to you in regards to it.
This is how we know our father would honor you.
Yeah, 100%.
For coming to honor him. This is how we know how he would honor you back. Yeah,
which I think I love, but that's a warped perception of love, isn't it? Because you came with this, and I guess that's something that we were talking to in regards to that.
Hey, you know what? This subject itself, we didn't anticipate for it to be... We haven't even hit the core questions yet.
Yeah, we haven't hit some core questions. Do we have some comments on TikTok, Nati? Okay. Yes, so true. Coming strong and then eat noodles for the next month. Yes. 100%. Yes.
1,000%.
1,000%. We're doing that. Okay.
And nothing's wrong with noodles. Can I just say?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Awesome. I think this one will be a very good question, because I know these people out there that love to watch us in regards to this. So here's my one. Why are Samoan churches involved in whalawe lovers? So basically...
What do you think?
Why is the church in Samoa involved in this concept of whalawe lovers? Oh. I think it's a deep question. I'll dive straight into it. I think the reason why there's whalawe lovers in the church is because our culture has been brought into the church. So if we're going to bring the culture into church, guess what? All the good and bad will come with that as well. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
So I think that's one of the... Can you get a Big Mac on the way? Oh my gosh. I can't get over people, man, honestly. So... I think for me is the reason why whalawe lovers are in the church is because we've allowed it. Like, it comes back to their whole man-pleasing spirit, and we've allowed it in our churches. Like, and people are probably like, well, give us examples. Okay, I always speak from personal experience. That's the only place I can speak from. One thing that we, before coming to God, is we spend a lot of money, like put in a lot, as was when we built a new church.
Yes.
A building. All right. There's an aspect after that called the umstanga, which is when we pay the people who built the church and all the Samoa side. You got to put into that. And a lot of money goes into that. And if you watch a lot of church openings in Samoa, I'm telling you now, there's heaps happening now. A lot of money and people's sweat and heart is into that. So that's what I mean. Another one is when the church builds the pastor a house. That's another thing where money goes into as well, because, you know, all the aspects. So for me is the reason why it's in our churches, because we're allowed it. If our culture's in the churches, then that's what's going to happen. And like I said, and I don't want to go into this, but our culture is a God to our people, so it is what it is. What are you going to think?
Oh, that you just hit it on the last comment. Our culture is a God to our people anyway. It can't function. And we've said this multiple times on past, you know, things that our Samoan people cannot separate culture and God. It is one to them. And we've said this multiple times. It's culture and God. It's one. Culture and church is one to them. Like, sorry for the tapping. I just get so frustrated.
You're very angry tonight.
Girl, I'm pretty heated.
It's a righteous anger. Like this, I believe for you, you come from a righteous anger. And so for this question, what is like the bane of your righteous anger coming from?
Because you cannot. Okay, I've said this before, and I've used the same analogy, same examples. Like, this is our culture, and our people have brought. This is our culture, and this is God. God made culture, made blah 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 blah. But what our people have done, or as our culture has, instead of having God above all, they've brought God down to culture, and now it's culture and God together. And that's not the case, and that's why I get so frustrated.
Yeah.
I get so frustrated because no, God isn't culture. Let's take God back where He's supposed to be. A God of all.
Preach it.
God of all, first of all.
Amen.
Ain't no culture about it, ain't no Samoan thing about it, ain't no Tongan thing about
Amen.
it. God is God. He's King of King and Lord of Lord. You cannot take that away from him. But for us to bring him down to level to something that we're so used to, so aligned to, so try to beat it in us that's right. It's not right. It's not right. Period. Point blank. Dot.
That's it. It's trying to bring God down to our level when God is above that. And I think that's why we get frustrated, and a lot of people 100%. Who watch this won't agree with us.
We've got so many backlash to this, but you know what? Bully. It don't matter.
It don't matter because, the truth is the truth.
Truth is the truth.
You know what I mean?
However, whatever, it is what it is.
But this is what that's what I mean. Like, and I don't know, I've got my head around that word, like event-centric. I believe the Samoan church is event-centric as well. They're all about events, like, rituals and stuff like that. It's like, take those events-centric things, hype things, ritual things out of the church, like Samoan church. What would it be?
Would you guys still turn up to church? Ooh.
Answer that. Come on.
Let's get it going. For all our very traditional, religious churches.
Yeah.
If we took all of the Samoan stuff, would you still rock up to church?
Yes. If
you were told you don't have to wear bears, you can just wear pants, would you?
Yes, 100%. If you were told that you don't how there's that segment of a church where it's like you don't speak out what you give, would you still go to church?
Would you still go to church?
If we don't give like the offering to a certain week amount, to the pastor, would you still attend church? Come on. If you don't pay like all those, if you don't have a building, like those big buildings that we have in Samoa, these beautiful monuments dedicated to God,
so
beautiful temples.
What a nice statue of Mary. Hey, Mary Lou.
You know what I mean? Like, if we didn't have these such beautiful buildings, these beautiful things, take all those out. Will you still go to the church of Jesus? Would you still serve him the way you serve him? And I'm talking in the context of our Samoan culture and the Samoan church. I'm saying, would you? And I think that is where all our...
this is where the smoke comes from, y'all.
I think this is where the tension comes off with me and Pepe, is that, man, we're so proud to be Samoan. We love our people. But at the end of the day, it's like, enough is enough, man. Like, we need to be real and talk about these things in regards to culture within the churches. How does it is it really about Jesus? Can I just speak that? And honestly, me and Pepe have been saying this. We want someone to come on that podcast to speak about, like,
bro, yeah.
But I think people are scared to come in regards to talk about this. Like, but if you love something, you'll be able to defend it. And I'm not just that.
Defend it not from an offensive
yes.
side, you know?
What we want to know is what, because the thing is, we can only talk about it so much, but what we would love is to have people on this podcast and be like on the opposite end and be like, okay, this is the reason why we do these things. I'm like, okay, we understand and we can come to a middle ground. We're not after to...
100%. And just while she's on this vein, now I've just kind of clicked as to why it's been so hard for us to actually find someone, because we're actually out looking. Whereas we're just going to use the same platform we use for everything else. If you are out there and you are wanting to, I don't know,
just come and talk to us about it.
Shoot us a DM. Let's talk about it.
I don't think defend, but just come and talk to us about this whole aspect of the Samoan church, the culture within it, because
I think it's a beautiful thing.
It's funny, we've asked nearly everybody and no one really wants to come on and talk about it because I think it's a touchy subject. And okay, I do understand too, some people are not like me and Pepe in regards to talking about these things. You know, we don't really, what's the word, care, you know what I mean? So, but we would like, it's just come and speak to us about it, because there is a generation who don't understand why we do 1,000%. What we do. You know what I mean? And this is what's always going to have. There's going to be a tension between the old traditions and what we want and the things.
What
we want to do is bridge it. We don't want to lose certain things.
We don't want to, and I think that's where the misconception always comes from is, oh, they don't like being Samoan, or they don't want to carry on. No. Look, again, there's beauty and there's not, there's beauty in it and there's not so beauty. But we're not all about just not the beauty, because we see the beauty in our culture.
And we've spoken about it heaps of times.
Always, forever. We are very proud to be Samoan woman.
Yes.
We're just trying to find a way where we can, again, like Singer used, bridge, obviously, what was to what is and what will.
Yes. And also bring an understanding to an audience. And what I don't...
1,000%.
And I believe that that's the one thing that people in the culture, it's like, you need to bring understanding. In a generation now, we want to understand things. You know what I mean? We're not going to take things like, it's... it's always been that way.
We can't take it.
Yeah.
We can no longer... that is no longer enough.
That's no longer valid.
Like, what I just said is things that have happened in, the days of Noah.
Because our Samoan people really think we existed then.
That's what they did in those days, and that's what we have to continue to do. But I can't explain that to my 15-year-old son, because he's going to be like, but why? And I'm like, I don't know why.
And I think that's what we're trying to do is we don't want to be, and I think that's where one of the reasons we started Tautuatalk is like, let's talk about these things, because these are reasons why there's a certain generation who feel out of touch. It's because there is no form of understanding. And we want to seek understanding in these areas. And how can we seek understanding if no one is willing to speak about it? If no one's willing to open.
Educate us. If you guys feel like, there's loose ends, come educate us. But I just have to say, y'all better come ready.
No, all we want to do is she's always ready to debate people.
No.
Here's what we want.
This I won't.
Here's what we want. We want a conversation to bring understanding.
Healthy conversation.
Because if we're getting worked up on this, imagine how many people that are in in our culture that just be like, why is it though? Why do we have to give these things? Why do we have these in the Samoan churches? Why do we have these things? And our parents' only answer is, it's the way it's always been. But why? And I think that's what it is. We would love to have someone on just to come and say why things are the way they are and bring understanding to us. So this is where I'm going to put it. So we don't lose the beautiful things of our culture. Because if we're going down this route, and I'm telling you now, if we keep doing the things that we're doing, we're going to lose it. And I'm telling you now, completely.
I'm already an example of where I dropped the ball on this, purely because of the not le malama, because I didn't understand. I didn't want to understand. That was the problem too. Like I was so traumatized by the things that have happened that I thought passing to do these things, I would pass the same trauma to my son. Instead, I cut everything off. But
that's good. Okay, we have a comment here. It says, I think give people
The opportunity to go to church without
the stress of giving saunga, kupe, beleki, outside thing. But allowing people the opportunity to go and get fed on God's word. Thank you very much, Vela. That's very good. And I think that's what we said. Take all that stuff out of it. All that ritual stuff. Exactly. Saunga, kupe, beleki, all that stuff. Yeah.
Not beleki, because beleki is tithing to them. But, you know, you see me. And I understand, though. See, because this is the thing, though. This is what builds it.
Yes.
Like, you know, all these little things. That's where we guppa when the church things, or when the church happens, we guppa to these things, right? You know, the also fangi, man. I love that. That
I know you do.
Probably the most beautiful thing I know that Methodist run is the also. For me, I'm like, that was one thing I took even till now was that sisterhood. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. The other extra things on top of it is
But like I said, we're seek understanding. So
100%.
if you live within the Sydney area,
man,
and you would love to
drop us a DM.
Drop us a DM. We would love to speak about these things.
In a little bit, you know.
But like I said, we just want to bridge the misunderstandings, 100%. And maybe we're misunderstood, and maybe we don't understand things. You know what I mean? But I think for us, we come from a place of faith, is that we just believe that the culture is beautiful, but there's aspects on it we would love to talk about, and that's toxic. Because if you feel now, we live in a Generation Z, they will call out toxicity. But what we're here to do is like, man, why do we call out the beautiful things? But how can we call out the beautiful things if no one's willing to speak to us about these beautiful things? Man! Oh, Sonic, you just anointed tonight, man, honestly.
100%.
Ooh,
1000%.
You know what I mean? So you can come after us like, oh, you guys are just talking about toxic things, like, because no one wants to talk to us about the good things. That's the reason why we're doing the things. So shoot us a DM.
There's a lot of good things, you know.
Of course we do.
We're speaking about a lot of good things, but why is the not so good things overweighing?
100%.
Overweighing them, but
Awesome. Okay, we've gone for 50 minutes now, so we'd like to do it. Bella goes, Dr. Batu is available to come on. Honestly. Man,
today's been lit.
Man.
Like, we've never perceived it.
We never perceived it. Okay,
but I love this. Like,
yes, I will go love this.
We may have a part 2 to this little segment, but you will never know until you know, come by.
I love Dr. Batu. Shout out to Dr. Batu, man, honestly. So I love him. But I think, and you know what's funny is that a lot of the people that are commenting are a lot of the people who feel the way we do. So, in regards to feel the way we do, is that we love it, but we just want to seek understanding. You know what I mean? Like, because like I tell you, like, if we're gonna keep going down this route, it's not gonna be a pretty thing, honestly. So I think it was awesome. What do you guys think? Do you think we should? I don't know. I love this topic. I can go on.
I feel like we may get into part 2 of this segment. We're not too sure, but that's even more to to get you guys following us. Subscribe if you haven't already. To make sure you see if there is a part 2 or not, or a part 4. See who's it'll be interesting to see to have a look out on the DMs to see who would actually reach out.
Yes, we'd love to be able to reach out.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, however it is, DM us nice.
Please, yes. We're nice people.
We're nice. We're very nice people.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Remember, if you guys can, obviously, guys, we do want this conversation to go out. So please share it, and please like. Share. And thank you, shout out to everybody that's been supporting us, man.
Yes.
Honestly,
engagement has been amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone that's logged on all platforms as well.
Yeah. Shout out to our TikTok crew, man. One thing that me and Bibi were talking about is like, man, we missed that TikTok engagement. It used to be lit, and we think it's coming back. So,
but you know what it is though? All of our TikTok people, they're all at Motherland and they're all watching live. Why? This is just all my advice to everyone at Motherland. Let's see if your mother knows that you're there, no jokes.
This is all my advice to people in Motherland. Do you know the father's business?
You want to go to the Motherland?
Do you want to go to the father's land?
You want to go to the real father's land? Lelo kukaya.
Oh no, we were seeing that. So shout out to all the people, honestly, and awesome work to those people too. All that stuff.
Man,
so
amazing
work. But that's all for us tonight because we try not to go for over an hour. But shout out to everybody. Thank you for everyone. Like I said,
Motherland, one of our main subscribers is at Motherland.
Yes. Yeah, Meke. We wanted to hear your comments, but all good. Okay, so here, before we go and say bye to everyone, Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. And follow us on Facebook. And if you've commented on this, we want you to share this episode. It doesn't hurt to share it, because like I said, we want to bring understanding. So so get the word out there. Thank you so much. Everyone's been supporting us. Thank you to JJ Studios. Thank you to John and Joyce for the JJ Forever Studios.
JJ Forever.
But you know what's funny is everyone's starting to call it JJ Studios now,
actually.
right? That's what I love. So prophetically speaking. So shout out to John and Joyce and their kids for opening our house. Shout out to my little sister,
Natsi. Man, if you heard her, she was like the one that kept the engagement flowing between, the behind the camera and in front.
So awesome.
Thank you so much, Natsi. Thank you to Joyce, the mother hen of this property that we're in. She's
the mother of this motherland.
the mother of motherless motherland that had no idea. First of all, she had no idea what was motherland, what everyone was doing in motherland. I don't know.
I was so done with her. But thank you, everyone. Like we said, we're back next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. So remind everybody. Remind everybody we're here, we do it live, and just come and have an engagement with us. We love that we can just talk to everybody, honestly. You can finish us off.
Oh man, did you want to give a shout out to the girl that's sitting with Joyce?
Oh, shout out to Shaz as well, who's upstairs.
Shaz.
Yamoso Kodwa.
Yamoso Kodwa lele. Kau lele ko ainga. It's strong, Nelly. Strong,
Strong, just like you coming in. Thank you, Shaz. And thank you to everyone that come here and then always just come and support, honestly.
Man, we love you
get
guys.
you a community, get you a faith community, get you a Jesus-filled community. Because I want to make that specific. We support Jesus. Okay, that's all we're about, just in case. Which God are you doing? The one and only God, Jesus. So, in saying that, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. We love you guys.
See you. Shout out to everybody. See you later.
Bye.